welcome folks to another episode of Warm Pints and Brown Envelopes. This week we have Marc Smyth, double Irish League winner. Marc, how's it going?
Not bad. How are you?
I'm all good, mate. Thanks very much for coming on.
No, not a problem. Anytime. We'll see what the questions are like first. Yeah,
they'll not be bad. Now, in terms of things there, we were talking briefly already. So you're at the minute academy, looking after academy at Cliftonville then. So looking forward to getting back into football.
Delighted. We actually start today. So today, some of our teams will train tonight. And basically for the rest of the week, we've got our training schedule already in. We know who's training Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's been a struggle. It's been hard for everyone, but I think the thing for us over the last few weeks is that return to football phase where we've had to be very meticulous in how we've went about it through the club with the board, who've been brilliant. David Begley, general manager, Eddie, the safety officer. They've been brilliant. We've worked together on a plan in terms of how we can get back safely.
And it does take a lot of planning. Myself being a coach too, that you're only coaching five at one time at the past couple of weeks, and you're going. It still takes a lot of planning just to make sure everything's right and the distance element and all that there. So hopefully now next few weeks we're going to start kicking on a bit, and it'll be hopefully a bit more normal compared to what it has been.
I think we're fortunate that we've kind of missed that stage. We planned for it. So a lot of work went into the social, and do you know what, that might help us, God forbid, if anything does happen further down the line and we need to return back to that, we've got it in place. But now we're starting with the guidelines changing Friday. I think everyone's delighted because we can get back to some sort of normality. At the end of the day, kids want to tackle kids socially distanced training just doesn't work.
Very, very, very hard.
And I think if we had to do it for a prolonged period, it would have been a struggle for everyone. So there was no rush. We get back this week, get to kick each other. Everyone's happy.
That's it. But we'll move on to yourself then, mate. In terms for football then, so how did it all begin?
I think, like any kid out there, like the kids we've got in the academy, you coach, same as your kids, it starts out with a ball in the street, something we probably don't see enough of. And I've kind of liked lockdown for that reason. I think you go and you look around you, it's like we've been in a time where we're starting to see kids on the street again playing football. We're starting to see dads take their kids to the park and play football. You know, I think, you know, there's this big onus on coaching at 5, 6, 7, 8 years of age. I disagree with it all. I think structure needs to be in place, but I think kids develop themselves by playing on the street, playing with their friends, playing with older kids. You know, coming into our club, the younger ages, it's all about them small-sided games where they can develop themselves. So I think it's been really good for that reason.
Yeah. So yourself, you touched on just kicking the ball in the street and that then. Who would have been your first side then when you were younger growing up that you would have played for?
Glad you brought me back. I forgot we were talking about me and I think so. Listen, growing up at youth level, obviously I started at a wee club called Invercolts down in Larne. I'm from Larne originally, so Invercolts, probably the best days of your life where you get the 52-seater bus, all the teams together, you played in Mollusk, you got your chips after the game. And listen, going back now, that helps you. I went on then I left and went to Larne Youth, another Larne club obviously, and then I ended up playing for Newhill in Belfast. They were very strong. They went to win tournaments to Whitley Bay. They approached me, asked me would I like to go on one, went and won. Great coaches, Sammy Dowds, Paul, great people. Different for me because they came out of my comfort zone at Larne. Obviously went into Belfast. It's a different way, different group of people. It's they're more streetwise. Things are just different. So that helped. I was at Blackpool from when I was 14. I went and tried a few clubs because I was in around the Northern Ireland setup. So went and tried a few clubs. I signed for Blackpool when I was 14. They used to fly me over on a Saturday night. I would play every Sunday, and then I would fly back for school on the Monday or Sunday night, Monday. Yep. So I was there from 14, 15, 16. Obviously then playing for the Northern Ireland 16s, you get the chance to go across the water. had the chance to go to Fulham. Nigel Worthington was the Blackpool manager, came in, basically said, look, we're going to offer you a pro contract. Fulham's was the scholarship. And I thought a wee bit of loyalty towards Blackpool because I'd been there, I knew the club, I knew the place. In hindsight, listen, I went there, I'm not saying it was the wrong move, but I think we can go on that in terms of how they treat young players. I think things have developed now. When I went to Blackpool, we lived in a bed and breakfast where you lived in your room. There's no real guidance. There's no really parent guidance. So that was always going to be a struggle.
Yeah. So 14 to 16 then, you're solely by yourself really then? It wasn't...
Well, no, I was just 14 to 16. I was just flying over and playing. So I would go over with my dad, I would go over myself. That was fine. Yeah. Once I went to live full time, we were basically putting digs outside Bloomfield Road, and you live with other boys, but the boys go home at weekends. I was the only Irish boy. You were kind of left yourself. You know, just looking back at some of the things you had to do yourself for a young boy to be in that position, you know, it was no surprise that, you know, away from football, probably attitude wasn't great. You know, the nightlife takes it, you know, you start to enjoy the nightlife. You've no real parents there to tell you what's right from wrong, and you're a young boy. So, you know, that's good advice you can pass on to any kid when they're going to clubs now is, and what's it going to be like when they get there? Yeah,
I think there's a lot, like with the kids football and all now, the dream is always, obviously, when you're playing to get across, but they never tell you what could go wrong or what obstacles you're going to hit. Really don't, you know, it's just, it'll all be plain sailing, but when I spoke to a few people, when they get there, it's complete opposite. You know, it's like first time away from home's killer.
Listen, make no shame, the crying on the pillow the first few months you're away from home, you're lonely, you're sad, you're happy because you're doing what you love, but there's that other side of it when you're not in the football ground. You know, I loved the football side of it, but I probably struggled behavioural wise because, you know, there was no angel when I left. I went there and, you know, you get caught up in, you know, the drinking, the partying, just different things. Maybe, you know, managers do something, your attitude's not great. So it was a learning curve for me, but I also feel that you have to, I want, you know, kids, you have to dream, you have to go and experience it, you have to get failure. It's a problem in life now, a problem with kids, problem with everything, that people think, how can we mitigate the fact of failure? Well, I think you need to fail. You know, it's part of life, it's part of growing up. It's how you handle that, it's people around you, it's how, even if it's a club, you know, how they're guiding you, how they're letting you down, how they're treating you after it. So it's not about the failure. I think that's part of life. I think it's about what happens around that and how it's managed.
Yeah, just the eye-opening element of it. In terms of, how did you find coping with the full-time football then? Was that a bit of a shock too, or?
No, I think you just take it in your stride. You're 16 years of age. You go there, you know, pre-season's geared up to get you ready for the season. So I don't think it matters if what stage you're at when you go there. Looking, no. I mean, I was in and around Blackpool's first team, 16, 17. So that side of it, the fitness side of it, no. For me, my issues all came, and I'm only looking back now, but my issues came off the field, probably, rather than on the field.
Right.
You know, that would have been my early days.
Yeah. In terms of, you're saying you're close to the first team and that, did you get any appearances then with Blackpool, or?
So played a few games pre-season. Was in their first team squad for the last game of the season in my first year. Was told I was going to be starting the game. I think Steve McMahon had just took the job from Nigel Worthington. Supposed to start on the Saturday. The youth team had won the league on the Thursday. We went out on the Thursday night. Let's just say I trained on the Friday. Not very good. Didn't really realise, because you think nobody's watching. You're young, you're stupid, you're naive. Comes a Saturday, my family flies over because I was told I was starting in the dressing room. My shirt's in the, you know, every young kid's dream. Wasn't even in the squad. And the youth team manager pulled me aside and explained why. And it was obviously the drinking.
Because of that.
Right. And again, probably didn't even take it on board because you're young and you're stupid. And listen, it was just a learning curve, but it probably benefited me later in life.
Yeah, madness. It turns out then basically through the years they obviously did move on from Blackpool then, but how did the move? Then it looks like you went from Ayr from Blackpool. Then how did that come along? Or
well, funny, and I know you mentioned in your questions, but John Hughes, Yogi, you're probably going to mention yourself. Well, so I had a year left at Blackpool. My uncle's from Edinburgh. I have a lot of family from Edinburgh. On my dad's side, live in Edinburgh, so he was quite friendly with Yogi. Mm-hmm. So he had actually spoke to Yogi, and Yogi, I think, got me a trial at Falkirk.
Yeah, that's
so
right. He was
there. Had a trial with Falkirk. We just happened to play against Ayr United. Falkirk had no money at the time. We're not sure. Ayr United in that game seen me, then they took me, and we actually played then a friendly against Falkirk again the following week. Played beside Yogi, and it was done there and then. Ayr United decided to sign me.
Yeah. So is Ayr United pro as well then, or was that semi? It was pro.
They were full time. Ayr United was probably. Ayr United would have been like the Larne at the minute, championship. They had a guy called Bill Barr that owned them, multi-millionaire, owned Barr Stadium, was building stadiums, was investing a lot of money in the club. So it was probably looking through my career, it was probably the best club I played for in terms of professionalism at that time and facilities and what they had and how you were looked after. I mean, you won it for nothing. So, and that's again, they were signing ex-Celtic players like John Hughes, a lot of top players, Paul Sheeran, James Grady, just players that were top Premier League players out with the big two. So financially, they were very good. And as I say, in the first year I was there, they got to the cup final against Rangers in the CIS, and they got the semi-final of the Scottish Cup against Celtic.
Yeah.
So, that's the type of club they were at that time.
Mm-hmm. In terms of them cup runs, did you get playing in much of them at all? Or
Scottish Cup made my debut. I think it was against 𝗠𝗔𝗥𝗖 𝗦𝗠𝗬𝗧𝗛. I actually forget, in the quarter-final, the 5th round. That was making my debut. Other than that, it was just bits and bobs here and there. It wasn't until the start of the next season where I ended up starting every game.
You started breaking out. In terms of, I went to uni in Scotland. I went to Stirling Uni, and one of my mates who played in the football team, he was a big Ayr fan, and I was going, right, when I said I was going to do this here, I was like, he played for Ayr, I must text my mate Colin.
So I don't know I want to hear what his reply was.
He did actually, just wrote it down there. I was like, Colin, what, like, I speak to this guy Mark, what's he like? He was one of my favourite players at Ayr United. He says he's a proper centre half, and I always thought he was too good for us. I'm like, all right, that'll do me. He goes, he's brilliant. He was really, really good. I was like, right, okay.
I'm actually glad you said that. I was getting worried. I was like, oh God, he's shite.
It's just when I was going through the prep bit and I seen Ayr United, and I went, okay, this boy knows everything about Ayr. I'll give him a text to see what he says, but that's what he came back with. I was like, all right, okay.
I think Ayr was, and it's only now you look back in your career and you look back at different things and you maybe understand why you done well at different places. But going back to the family element, when I first went to Ayr United, so they had 4 Irish boys in digs. So they put us in with a family. A woman called Moira and Jim, they were called, man and woman, lived just beside Somerset Park. 2 lovely people, but again, I just came from a hellhole, being treated like a dog. Couldn't wait to get away to Moira and Jim, so I didn't know what to expect. And to cut a long story short, they basically treated me like a son. You lived in their house, but it was your home. They made it your home. You could come and go as you please. You use the kitchen. It sounds crazy, but when I lived in Blackpool, they used to lock up all the doors on a Sunday, so you couldn't get into any of the rooms, and they would give you £2 to get your dinner. So you were there on that's how you were treated. Right. So Moira and Jim treated me like a son. Then obviously you had a wee bit of guidance. You don't want to let them down, so even your home life becomes better. You're more responsible, which made me probably more professional. And I played for Ayr, I think over 100 games. and unfortunately, Ayr hit a lot of trouble where financially Bill Barr pulled out. There was a few fallouts, and I think I was one of the ones that they knew they could sell. So
yeah. Just before moving on from Ayr, in terms of, you mentioned John Hughes. What was it like playing with him?
I think it was good. Listen, John, he was coming to the end of his career, and as strange as it may sound, he was a very hard man, but towards the end of his career, he started to change his game. He started to get this philosophy of being a total footballer. He was evolving already as a manager, probably in his head.
Yeah.
So he was a different type of player than what he would have been in his younger days. He was still mental, he was still aggressive, he was still punching doors, he was still in the dressing room, he was very aggressive and physical, but just he had changed. You could see him evolving. He had obviously looked ahead. He knew what type of manager he wanted to be, and he was starting to implement that as a player. Maybe didn't suit him, because I'm not sure how technically he was, but great influence in the dressing room, leader, but actually a really, really good football brain. The years after, anytime I meet him or speak to him, just a smart. When he speaks wisely, and he actually is very intelligent about the game.
I've seen him on BBC Scotland, things like that, for the Scottish games. So he's done punditry. He does seem very clued in terms of, as much as he loves football, but when he talks, you can see he knows a lot about it, doesn't he?
He is. And funny, actually, when I was doing my A license, he was one of the guys on it, and we done a Q&A, and one of the things I asked him was what's the most important thing in your eyes to be a manager? He says, when you've got a philosophy, to stick by it. And I says, well, it's kind of an argument. I says, well, always. And he says, yes, he sticks by his philosophy. And if you look at his Falkirk team, they were probably one of the best footballing sides in the Championship, got promoted, but when they went to the Premier League, still a great footballing side, but got relegated.
Yeah.
My argument was, yes, you maybe don't break away to an extent, but surely you need to change. But he knows more than me. I just felt it was a good debate to have. But it was very, and it's one thing you do need. I probably took that from him, where you do need a vision, you do need a philosophy, and you do need somewhere to go to and stick towards. But I do think you can
mix and match it a wee bit.
Evolve.
Yeah. See, with the Scottish football, did you see a big difference from moving up from England into the Scottish football? It was a bit more physical demand for you, or did you cope with it a lot better?
Probably more physical in terms of the game's 100%.
Yeah.
100 mile an hour. Game's 100 mile an hour. You don't get a minute, especially. I played most of my football in the Championship, and it just is. It's very non-stop, tactical. Obviously, it was slightly different as well, because it was kind of going from youth reserve team football to first team football. So naturally, it's hard to compare. Level up. Although in England, probably maybe suited me more because I got a lot more time in the ball.
Grand. Just so then, you moved on from Ayr United, then you went to Partick Thistle.
Yes.
Dick Campbell was the manager, is that right?
Dick was the manager.
So I've seen a few interviews and all that there. He seems a bit of a character. What was he like?
He was good for the first year until he sacked me. So listen, not a bad word to say about him. Dick's old school. He's a very good motivator. He signed me. I signed a 3-year contract. Got made captain. They paid money for me. So it was a big move as well for me at the time. Because it's a choice. It was either him or St Johnson. Although my agent stitched me up, and I didn't know about St Johnson the after I come home from signing. So
okay.
That's why I don't really have a lot of time for agents.
For agents,
bad ones. But it was good. I was captain. First year we won promotion, and then I left that summer for various reasons.
For a few reasons or another. In terms of promotion, then, did you went up into the Championship? Is that where you just get promoted to?
So Partick obviously had a few, but they went from the Premier League and they had 2 relegations.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons they went and spent a bit of money. brought me in to change captaincy, which was tricky because Grant Murray was still there and Grant was the captain. Grant was probably a great captain and a great person. He still stayed with me. His professionalism was second to none. I think he was Hibs assistant manager there. But looking back, it's probably too early for me to be a captain. I was probably good. Yes, I was a leader. Yes, I was vocal. But in terms of the dressing room, when I look back, I think it wasn't the right move for me to be captain.
What age were you at that stage, Mark?
I was only 20, 21.
Tough to. Probably going to be a lot of experienced pros in there with you too. And you're going.
Well, listen, it worked, and we got promotion. But I just feel that when I looked around me and I look back now, I'm not sure. Not sure it was the right thing for him to make me captain for the other players. That's, when I look back, I think there was probably people there who maybe had more respect in the dressing room at that time.
In terms of then, so you mentioned a bit already, you promoted, then you moved on. So you went from Partick then to Airdrie.
Yeah.
Won a few trophies. One was it the CIS? Was it CIS Cup? Is it called?
CIS.
Challenge Cup or something? Yeah.
It was the Alba Cup, I think it was called when I won.
Because
it was on, the Gaelic channel, the Alba.
Yeah.
I think that's now the current Iron Brew Cup that the
Irish League teams play.
So we won that. As I say, scored a penalty. It was a penalty shootout against Ross County in the final. Scored the winner. So great memory. I think the standout for me at Airdrie in terms of going forward in my career was a guy called Kenny Black was the manager. Kenny went on after he left Airdrie to be the Scotland assistant manager with Greg Levine. I think he's not sure. Then he went to Bradford with Ian McCall. Not sure where he is now. I think maybe in the SFA. But going back then, I'm back. It's 2006 I signed there. So what's that? 14 years.
Yeah.
Kenny's attention to detail and professionalism was something I'd never experienced before. And he was ahead of his time. We were doing video analysis then. It was shite, by the way, because
I was going to ask, what was that?
Well, his attention to detail was brilliant. So he would come in the Monday morning with an A4, a book that size. And every minute, 2 minutes, he had obviously had to go through it because it was olden days. It wasn't the way it is now. So we would go in maybe on a Monday and after training, he'd say, we're doing video. I kid you not, you'd be in there for 3 hours. And he had everything. Although we didn't enjoy it at the time. Yeah. Simple wee things like even I look at now, he was massive on throw-ins. He would work, he'd have us in his day off and throw-ins. And you look now, Liverpool have just employed a set-piece
specialised coach.
He was doing that 14 years ago. Throw-ins were massive to him. He used to count, he used to crack up with the videos. Corners, he was big in when we were doing corners, it was just all about you having your man. Forget about what's going on around you. Forget about trying to win the ball. Just make sure your man doesn't score. So we would watch a video at the start when we were doing bad. Things weren't working. We'd work on it for maybe 6 weeks and you could always see the difference. So I think that's where you got the reward and the buy-in because you seen it worked. But the set pieces stuck with me and it has stuck with me forever because I still don't think, as crazy as it sounds, and I'm no person to tell him what to do. I watched, I think it was Leicester. Johnny Evans anyway. I'm not sure what game it was a week or two ago. And it was a set piece. It was Watford scored in the last minute. Yeah. And go back and watch the set piece. The ball comes in. Johnny Evans actually leaves his man to go and try and win the ball. He doesn't win it. Rebound. It's his man scores the goal. And they were the things Kenny would be big into. He would be saying, just you concentrate on your man, and if we all do that, they don't score. And it was small things, but they've stuck with me forever, and they probably, going forward, I would love to see what he's doing now.
Yeah, as you say, small things are just stick with your man, but they're the simple things in football that you sort of take for granted, isn't it?
Let me just pull this blind up, that sun's enough.
Work away.
That's it. It's things that, we all take the game for granted. We coach, we do tactics, but he was the first person really that brought in, his attention to detail for me. Things that you never thought about. Throw-ins for, throw-ins against, set pieces, go back to it, he would actually stop sometimes, and you'd maybe left him won a really good header, and he would say, "No, I'm not happy with that." He'd stop the video. He would say, "What if you missed that, or there's a flick on? Where's your man?"
Yeah.
And it got to the stage then, later in my career, I just ended up making sure my man didn't score. I didn't try and do somebody else's job or worry about the ball. And if we all do that, it worked.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. See, with the video analysis then, did he point out any howlers from you? He was going on Monday going, "Oh, for fuck's sake."
Many. There was many a Monday morning. You knew it was coming. Because listen, you're your own worst critic in the game. I don't know many players that aren't. So if you had a bad game or you knew you fucked up, you were coming in the Monday and you were going, "Oh, what the fuck, we're not doing video analysis." And see, the minute he would say to you after training, "Go and get a pasta." There was a wee shop done pasta. That meant you were in there for 3 hours. And you'd be sitting. But you'd maybe argued, because the one thing you do realise, you come in the dressing room and you argue about a goal or you argue about something. It's never that way when you go and watch it back.
Yeah.
People are accountable, and that's why it's very good to have the video, because there's no hiding place. The amount of time, you've maybe said, "No, it was such and such's fault," and you come in on the Monday and you're going, "Shit." Listen, that's also part of, you have to be strong mentally to be a footballer, because there's players that don't like sitting there. There's players that don't like being shamed in front of everyone else. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I suppose you have to manage people individually. But the reality is, you have to take responsibility. It's a collective game.
Yeah, 100%. In terms of for Airdrie then, take it just winning that cup and that, you just loved your time there as well, or?
So it was at Airdrie 4 years. Great club. Still, Anne-Marie Ballantyne, still speak to her often. She's one of the owners. Great people. But Airdrie was always one of them clubs. We were up and down.
Yo.
And selfishly, I was probably always looking at a better move.
Yeah.
You always want to play at the highest level possible. And again, Greenock Morton come in for me. Greenock were a championship club, but again, Douglas Ray owns the Wee Sweets. You ever see Wee Sweets Millions? He owns them. So again, he was
yes, he was the sponsor, wasn't he? Yeah.
So he was again another multi-millionaire owner who was doing things right. They had their own training ground. They had good facilities, and they were trying to make a push for the Premier League. So it was a good move at the time.
And how did you get on with them then? What was it like settling in there?
Good. My first year, probably had a really good first year, personally and as a team. Really enjoyed it. Had a good first year. Let's just talk about the first year, because the second year was shit. My first year was really good, and then, as I say, the second year started. Got an injury. Couldn't really recover. It was one of them seasons where I was stop-start, and then once I did break into the team after Christmas again, after my injuries, I went through a month where I had 2 or 3 real bad games, and things just went downhill. Again, looking back and reflecting, it's probably the first time my confidence took a dive. I was making mistakes that I never had made in my career, and it was just happening on a regular basis. For the first time then again in my career, I found myself on the bench. And it was just one of them seasons, and I kind of thought to myself, look, I'm getting older. I've been a full-time footballer for 16 years, which was good. Money was starting to fall out of the game a wee bit, and to make a living, good living. And I had to think of what I was going to do next. So even in that second season, I was already starting to probably flirt with clubs back home.
Yeah.
Because of my mindset on coming home, going and doing a degree during the day and training at night. But I needed the football because I needed a wage.
Yeah.
Finding that balance, and the only way I was going to get that for what I'd done after football was coming home. And I think it worked for both. I think, to be honest, Martin, we're happy to get rid of me after that second year. And I think from my point of view, it's just worked out well for life.
So you did come home then. Was there many clubs that you were speaking to then, or was it always going to be Cliftonville?
Well, I didn't really speak to anyone. My dad kind of done it. So my dad was obviously just asking, listen, you know, who wants to sign a player, but nobody really knows you. It's like anything. When I was in England, nobody knows anyone in Scotland when you're in Scotland. So nobody really knew me. So anyone would have been taking a chance. And Gary Hamilton, Gary's like a distant cousin of mine. So,
Right, okay.
Along the line, my dad's side. So Gary rang me. Not naming the player, but I think Gary spoke to me, and Gary was eager to sign me, and we spoke about terms, and he believed I was maybe better than a player he had who was going to move somewhere else. I think he was happy with a switch.
The switch.
The player was moving anyway, so I would have been a good replacement. But me and Gary kind of spoke. We never really agreed, but I mean, I was happy with what he was offering me. But then I hadn't heard from him for a week. So I came home, no contact. Thought obviously nothing's happening. And then the Saturday I played. Cliftonville asked me to play a game, so they asked me to play. Played against Portadown. After about 50 minutes, Tommy Breslin took me off. So off you come. Brought me into the office straight away. Offered me the contract, and I said, "Listen, you know, I spoke to Gary, blah blah blah," and it was kind of like, "Look, this is a contract. It's on the table. We really want you." I supported Cliftonville as a kid, so it was kind of a no-brainer for me. So I shook Bresley's hand over the table. Didn't actually say anything. Shook his hand, agreed on something. Came home. Gary Hamilton rings me at night. Says, "Mark, we've agreed. I've spoke to the board. We've agreed on that." And he says, "Gary, it's too late. I've just agreed something with Cliftonville, and I wouldn't go back on my word." And I think the Cliftonville move suited me because it was a club I'd played for. It's a club I wanted to be at. And I think Gary might tell the story different, but that's how it happened.
How did he take it after that?
Oh, listen, he was brilliant, and he always was. You know, anytime, listen, it's a player to him. You know, they come and go. So that was one I am.
In terms for, you said when you were speaking with Tommy Breslin, did you understand right away? Did you see how special he was in terms of just even speaking to him, going, he's top drawer?
I think that's maybe wrong to say, because seeing it, like anything in life, first impressions matter, but it takes you time to work people out, to get to know people. It was more the draw of the club at the start. You know, it was a club that I'd supported when I was younger. It's a club that I'd just had an affiliation with in my heart more than anything. It was close to home. I was going to be moving back to Larne, so it was going to be closer for me in terms of travelling. I was going to go to Belfast Met, so it just fit it at the start. One thing I took from Bresley's initial meeting is that he was a gentleman.
And then how terms for after that, then you had signed for Cliftonville. What terms for like the lads and stuff like that, going from full-time football to your Tuesday first night trainings? How did you find it? Or
surprising as this sounds, I was actually shocked, because I actually looked upon the boys who were training part-time and thinking their attitudes were 10 times better than the full-time players.
Right, okay.
Towards the end of it, you know, from the last couple of years of what I'd experienced, myself included, because I was looking at people like George McMullen, Ryan Catney, Barry Johnson, who had went and worked 9 to 5 on a building site, and were coming into training at 6:30 and never stopped shouting, demanding, you know, work rate. And I remember thinking to myself, I was full-time and players were coming in and complaining, and maybe the stand, you know. So that was my initial thought. I was surprised, because, and actually probably humbled, because I kind of looked at myself and went, you know, I've seen it, maybe it's just, and everyone's the same, you do a job for so long. I've seen me, even when I was full-time, couldn't wait. I was kind of glad when it was over, you know, because you do it every day. You can bitch about the manager, you can moan about training, that shit. And this just wasn't the case with this group of players. This was, you know, you're here, you play for Cliftonville, and there's no second prizes.
Yeah, so no real surprises how successful you were then going forward.
No, and that was very evident early on. I mean, friendly I played against Portadown, I think we won 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And once I signed, the first thing I understood was, right, we have a good group of players. But I didn't know the league, so I didn't know what other teams were like. But within, I mean, weeks, maybe months, probably, because like anything, the first few weeks are always difficult. Months, I remember playing Ballymena. At Ballymena, I think we beat them 7 or 8-1. But the game became so easy where I'd never experienced, and I don't mean that derogatory to anyone, but I'd never played in a team that was so confident, so good. You know, things were so easy. And I remember Ballymena fans, we came off, says, if you don't win the league by 20 points, I'd be amazed. And that stuck with me. And, you know, it just, the group of players, you just need to look at the group of players now and what some of them have done in the last few years, especially Joe and Boise, to realise that it was a special group at a special time with special people leading it, and I'll come on to them because they were very important.
Yeah, so that's what it was. Excuse me, I was going to say, in terms of like when you look at that team, you'd say in there, you Boise up front, yourself, Jimmy McGovern at the back, there's quality throughout it. Connor Devlin nets, George McMillan, Ryan Catney, that you mentioned. There's just names throughout there that were just all quality players. But then, as you said, in training, they're working extremely hard to get there.
They trained how they played. And listen, you know, yes, if you look at that season, Devlin, best keeper in the league, defence, Eamon today. I mean, even places, you know, George McMullen ended up having to play right back. We were that good. And Georgie's probably the best centre midfielder in the league. So him and Tomas Cosgrove, Eamon Sadek, Ronan Skinnell fighting for places, Jody Lynch, Marty Donnelly fighting for places, Catney and Johnson. You know, Stevie Garrett was exceptional. I think he scored 18, 19. And Joe Boise. Dermot O'Carroll was probably the best of all the strikers at holding the ball up. So, you know, Dermy went on to win 4 league titles. He couldn't get a starting place over them too. So that, we're just blessed with players in their prime, good players, but more importantly, I think we're blessed with leaders. And leaders come in different ways. If you look right through that team, you had leaders in Catney, who was a quiet person, but done his talking on the pitch. George McMullen, who was a leader in every way, off and on the pitch. Barry Johnson led by his example, his pressing, his attitude to go and hound people. You know, Boise, Joe, different characters, different people. Devlin was easily the best keeper in the league, but again, was commanding, was a voice. It was a loud dressing room with a lot of leaders. A lot of people who wouldn't accept. A lot of people who just wouldn't accept second place.
Good traits to have. In terms for yourselves, then, a lot you're saying they wouldn't accept second place. Now, take it as a group, there would have been arguments, there would have been fallouts or bust-ups in the change room.
Many. Listen, it was a reoccurring theme. Nobody really cared. I could speak from a personal point of view. I didn't really care if you liked me or if you didn't like me. You know, I was here to win football games at the start, especially these people at the start. It's a job. Through time, I've ended up probably the first club I've been at where I've made friends, you know, because we had a special bond. But for me, it was just about winning football matches and doing what it took and driving people, pulling people along with you. But listen, there was bigger people than me. George McMullen was the catalyst for everything in terms of that. I've seen Barry Johnson and Catney fighting in warm-ups. I mean, punching each other before Dungannon in the warm-up, going to the pitch. Best friends, we laugh about it after. I've seen George McMullen and me at it in the dressing room. We could beat one game when things were going bad. He shouted at me. He says I only cared about the win bonus. Still dig him up about that.
It's a good thing really to have though in the team that you just can say your bit, but then you go do the business after, or it's forgot about, you go grab a beer or something like that. I think that goes a long way to being successful too, doesn't it?
We didn't care. Listen, we had off the pitch, we probably had one of the maddest teams you'll ever meet that year.
Yeah.
Because we all became friendly, and we ended up growing that siege mentality on and off the pitch. On it, we won together. Off it, you know, everyone, nights out, you name it, group chats. But we were a team, we were a bond, but things stayed within that dressing room. You know, people looked after each other on and off the pitch. You know, there was no talking out of school. There was no, you know, telling other people our business. We'd done things together, and that was very, very important. But that comes from, I feel, the leadership at the top.
Yeah.
You know, you have a chairman and Jared Lawler who just wouldn't accept anything like that. But he's also very good with you. You know, he's very, very, listen, Jared lets you know. Don't think he's ever told me he likes me. In fact, I told him last week in a text message, actually says, do you know what? I'm really starting to like you, Jared. And he says, well, I'm not at that point yet with you. so that's all, you know, but listen, he's very honest. He's straight. He's a very good chairman because he's very good at what he does. You know where you stand with him, but, you know, deep down, he cares about you and the club, and you know that. And then in terms of Brezzy, you had Jared Little, who was the coach, was a very good coach. But the personalities, you had Tommy Breslin and Minto. Minto was the assistant manager who the boys just loved. Stories are brilliant. He's funny, but he's the one that dug you up. You know, at half time. I mean, you'd think Liam Boyce wasn't a good player because he was constantly on his back because he knew how good Liam was. But Minto was the driving force in terms of putting people in their place, but also brilliant respect for him because he's the main man. Minto was a legend. Brezzy was just so good at managing people. He was such a nice man, never raised his voice, believed in the team, new players. And probably the way that the story I defined Brezzy for me personally was I'd been injured second season, first 3 games of the season, I think I was suspended. So I never played. And the 2 boys that played in my place they were excellent. And we won the games, but we conceded a couple in the games. So he goes away to Dungannon. I'm back from injury. I expect to play. So Brezzy brings me out of the dressing room and he says, listen, you're not playing today. And I says, Brezzy, I am fucking playing. And he says, no, you're not listening. He says, you're not playing today. I says, yes, I am. And he goes, no, the 2 boys have been excellent. I says, Brezzy, I don't really give a fuck. I'm better than them. I'm playing. I know it sounds really arrogant, but that was the conversation. And he says, look, this is where he's brilliant at managing you. He says, listen, have to be fair to everyone. We play Harden and Wolf on Tuesday night in the Cup. That gives me an excuse to get you back in the team. We'll win on Tuesday night and that'll be you back in next Saturday. I says, Brezzy, seen Tuesday night, I don't want to fucking play against Harden and Wolf. You won't play now. And go fuck yourself, kind of. And it was wrong with me and the attitude was stinking, but it was just a desire to play. But how I defined Brezzy was I went home. That conversation ate me up all night because of the respect I had for him. And I rang him Sunday morning and I says, listen, I need to apologise. Shouldn't have spoke to you. The guy says, Mark, don't worry. He says, you wanted to play. Tuesday night you'll play and you'll be back in. And to be fair, I played Tuesday night in the Cup and then played the rest of the season. So
brilliant.
You just didn't want to let him down. He was like your dad. One of these, just a good person who, in the end, you know, I probably felt he probably knew himself, and I probably felt sorry for it because the dressing room changed and things changed, and I think he knew that wasn't for him.
Yeah, it's incredible just to hear that. In terms of for yourself as a player too, I love that knockback confidence. Going, no, I am fucking playing.
I can't believe he dropped me.
That's class.
Still can't believe he dropped me. And it's one of them. I don't care what any footballer tells you. I want us to win that game 5-4, so I can go into his office and say, fucking conceded 4 today. But, you know, I'm not sitting there going, hope them 2 are brilliant, we win 10-0. Listen, you know, that's probably the whole squad was like that.
Yeah. That's the winner's mentality, isn't it, really? Like, but in terms of yourself then, you're saying the centre halves, you struck up a real big partnership then with Jimmy McGovern. like speaking to a lot of Cliftonville fans and things like that there, they said two of you basically were forefront for you winning the league and that. You were a real strong partnership. What clicked? Why do you think it clicked so well?
I think for me, for a start, I think it was about the team, because I think anyone's job's made easy by the players you have around you. So we were such a good team, but everybody played their part. But if we're talking specifically about the defence, it was a unit. Conor Devlin behind us, who made a lot of crucial saves at a lot of crucial times, but he also was probably one of our best sources of attack in terms of counter-attack and his distribution. People didn't see that, but that was a key factor for us in beating teams and winning, was his distribution. In front of that, the whole back four was strong. It was that unit worked, because even Barry Holland started the first season with me and he was exceptional. And we had a really good four still. Jamie was right back. He got made a makeshift centre half because I don't think he had played there. And where it worked, I think we're both from Larne. We understood each other. We're both culties, so we get the same abuse. But like anything, it worked because I loved to step in and I loved to go and join up with the midfielders, the strikers, and Jamie was excellent. Jamie had a bit probably quicker than me. So we just ended up with a partnership that worked. He was good at things I wasn't. I was good at things he wasn't. The communication was good. We were able to control each other and pull each other in. And we had great players beside us. You look in the right back, George McMillan, Thomas Cosgrove, Eamon Sadek, Ronan Scannell. Listen, Devlin behind you, you had it. And more importantly, you went in the front a lot of games because you had such good strikers. And when you go 1-0, 2-0 in front, the game becomes easy.
Grant, in terms of yourself, said as well that obviously the last game is the Linfield game, when that last kick of the ball, basically. Won you the league. What's your memories of that day then? Were you just going in confident enough, or?
100%. I think at that stage we went into every game after maybe the first month or two. It's probably the only time in my career, and probably the only time since, that you were in the tunnel. You knew you had won before you had went out. Somewhere deep down in you knew teams were beat when they arrived there. I think I've seen David Begley actually asking me a question on Twitter about the David Jeffrey thing. I think that was part of it, and I think they didn't like that, where I think they were actually maybe ahead of us in the league. I'm not sure. Whatever way it worked, I think when Linfield came, we looked at their team sheet and they'd maybe been playing two up front for weeks, and they came with us and played one up front. And that goes back to, we knew they were beat when they came there in our minds. And listen, if not beat, we knew there was it's wrong to say a defeatist attitude, but they were showing us respect. And that's something that we thrived on. So I remember that, after that game, me and David were in the same room. I think I spoke rather loudly and says they were beat before they came here, just to play mind games. And I don't think he took it too well. He actually done an interview the next week against Crusaders. I heard him saying in the paper, it said, I don't normally speak about players, but then he had a pub at me. And personally, I kind of went, I love that, because brilliant from him, but brilliant from me, but also made me realise, something, you're rattled as a team. And that was just good. But no, we believed, listen, you play them players. Joan Boycey used to decide before the game, they'd be joking about what celebrations they were going to do because they knew they were going to score. And that's just, it's very fortunate to ever have that in your career. I'm sure the teams after us did. The Crusaders teams that went on to win the league probably were the same. The Linfield teams, but that's how we were at that stage.
Yeah. Did you, when McMillan was going up to hit the penalty, did you know it was going in? No nerves or anything like? Cause I remember rewatching it back. I think it came up on Twitter the other day, and he's just grabbing the ball and Boyce's round him. He's like, "No, I'm hitting it."
I'm not sure if Georgie actually missed it. I have a funny feeling Georgie missed one or two that season. But no, did I have any doubt? Not at all. I think Georgie was a player. Cliftonville diehard.
waiting for that moment sort of thing, wasn't it?
People speak about legends. I don't think people may argue, maybe the time, I don't think you'll find a bigger legend of Cliftonville than George McMullen for the period of time he played, for the loyalty he showed the club, because I'm sure he probably got offers to leave, for the driving force he was, and ultimately he was probably the first captain to win the double with them. So I don't see how, and he scored the penalty to win the first league. So I know other teams have won leagues with Cliftonville, but I don't see a bigger legend than George McMullen for what he's gave to the club, how he inspired that first league winning team, and you know, so he would be my man. So no, I had no doubt. I'm sure I probably did have doubt.
No, he looked when it just as watched it back, you knew he wasn't missing it.
No,
just the way he grabbed the ball and just poker face, looking straight. It's like, nah, I've got this.
Some things are just meant. Some things are just meant for people as well.
Yeah, it seemed like that was what his moment. But your reward that year, then basically, he's got to win the league. Party time after, or during and after, or what?
Disappointingly, yes, because we won the double. Somebody in their wisdom decided to run a Player of the Year do the week before the Irish Cup final. Listen, no, I think when you've probably been at Cliftonville and you've probably been there a few years, you can't blame anyone not to celebrate winning the league.
Yeah.
You know, this is something there's people have waited so long for. The chairman and the board probably put so much into, you know, doing that job's it's a thankless task, and you know, that reward of winning the league and achieving something that they maybe didn't think they were going to do or hadn't done often. Players included, all of us, we all celebrate it. And you know what? Looking back, yes, we probably did celebrate too much, because the Irish Cup, we should have won the treble. We were a better team than Glentoran. We should have beat them comfortably, and we didn't. And that'll always live, probably with me anyway, personally. It'll always sicken me that we didn't do the treble. And I probably feel we've only ourselves to blame, but I can understand why.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think anyone, I think if it happened again, people would do the same thing.
Exact same thing had happened.
So
in terms of then basically that summer you just got rewards on the pitch, then basically you got to play against Celtic in the Champions League. We
done again, fate, you know, probably doing something that we boys dream of. One, I know myself playing the Champions League, massive, something I was never going to do. I played 16 years full time and I was never going to play in the Champions League, so it was a bonus of coming home. Bonus of getting that with Cliftonville, and the game itself, for the players who had been there for years, most of them probably supported Celtic.
Yeah. You
know, so it was, apart from Stevie Garrett, I'm not sure if he supported Celtic. Or no, you know, there's a few boys listen, but there's a lot of boys supported Celtic, so it was a dream come true for them, and a great experience for the club. Much needed, probably cash injection as well for the club, which they deserve for the effort they put in. And for the most important people in any football club is the fans. And I'm sure for them and the ones that win, and the one, whether it be home or away, was probably one of the most memorable moments.
Yeah. What was it? See, in terms of, it's like Solitaire or Celtic Park, when that Champions League music's playing, then you're looking across, you see the lineup of Celtic. They're not taking it lightly, like the full team out. You be shouting it, or are you going, I'm buzzing for this?
No, I don't think as a footballer you ever get. Listen, you always get nervous. There was a nervous energy I used to get before any big game, whether it be Linfield, but it was a good nervous energy.
Yeah.
You always, personally, I always played better when it was a bigger game. So, no, I don't really remember too much. I was never one for taking things in. I kind of regret that now. You know, looking back, a lot of moments, a lot of things, I never really took them in the way I should have. You know, it was kind of your job and you done it and you enjoyed it. But I wish I had. I probably took it in more. But I mean, listen, I have great memories of Gary Hooper's shirt. I have Anthony Stokes' shirt. Got one framed in my house somewhere. I think it's a Hooper one, with the pictures of playing against them in the Champions League. And I'm sure all the boys have something some memorabilia. So it's one for your grandkids. You know, as you get older, you probably get more prouder of some of the things that you've done.
Yeah. What were them players like after the games and that for you? Were they like spot on, or did much time for you? Or?
They were exceptional.
Yeah.
No, some of the boys who probably took it more in will tell you better than me, because I know for a fact Scott Brown, I think, basically came in and took boys in the dressing room to get signatures, to get pictures, you know, you name it. And funny, I wanted Gary Hooper's shirt, so I had this lined up because I knew he was leaving, I think the next day, so I knew it was his last game. So he came on, I says, Gary, can I get your shirt? No problem. So the game finishes, Brian Campbell, the kit man, says, go and speak to your fans, no clap. And I'm going, Brian, I'm trying to get his speakers. No, you have to. So goes down, claps, turns around, Gary Hooper's nowhere to be seen, so I'm going, Brian. So I'm walking up the tunnel, and this is how humble they were. I'm walking up the tunnel, and Hooper's waiting on me.
Really?
So in my mind, I'm going, brilliant. I'm going to get his shirt and my shirt. I was going to get the two shirts framed together.
Yeah.
So he's waiting on me. He hands me his shirt. I'm walking away, and he grabs me. He fucking takes my shirt off me, and I'm going, he's just going to throw that in the bin. And I'm still to this day, I'm thinking, why did he take? I was devastated in a way. I was delighted, but shows you his humbleness. One, waiting on me to give me the shirt. Secondly, taking mine. Maybe he keeps all his shirts. It's the thing he does because he's no need for mine. But Brian the kit man laughs about it this day because he's like, remember your shirt?
It's class.
And Brian never had a spare one because that's Cliff the way we run. So one shirt's up on the wall.
So I'm going. So see that in terms of that game at Celtic, then do you think that set you up really well then for the next season to go on and retain it?
I think no, I don't. I think the squad we had, keeping them together, and I think adding Chris Curran to that squad is what helped us win the second league, because I would think there was a spell after Christmas where Chris Curran probably single-handedly won us that league. I remember there was a game against Guntour and we were struggling. It was 0-0 at home and he scored a goal. And he just went through a spell of maybe a month or 2 months where he was unplayable. And we actually signed him in a hot tub in 𝗠𝗔𝗥𝗖 𝗦𝗠𝗬𝗧𝗛. That's a true story. The first year on the league, went to 𝗠𝗔𝗥𝗖 in the drink. We're in the hot tub. Then Connor Devlin says, I know Chris Curran, and we were at Man U together. Brezzy says, get him on the phone. Brezzy's got the flip-flops. And that's basically how Chris Curran was signed, was in the hot tub after the first year. So, but Chris Curran, good signings again from Brezzy, smart, intelligent, keeping the squad together. And that's what got us over the line, because the second season was a lot tighter.
Tougher, wasn't it?
It was tougher, and we had that mental capacity of being there and having done it. We could rely on that when the going got tough, but also that wee bit of extra quality that Chris Curran and Marty Donnelly was quality all the time. But yeah, their quality probably.
Terms for when you won it the second year, then was it a bit in terms of your mindset? Was it different in terms of when you were saying at the start you were going early on we were going to win this? The second year, then were you thinking, I don't know if we're going to win this, or did you still think, no, we'll still get this, or we'll have this early on?
Well, I always thought we'd win the league. You think that every year. If you don't think you're going to win the league, just go home, because there's no point in trying. But the second year was more enjoyable for me personally, for that reason being, I think we were chasing Linfield up until and then we went to Windsor, and in my opinion, it was the best footballing performance I've ever seen from or played in. Sorry, when I say seen, that's wrong, because everyone watching this will go, he talks some shite. But I'd ever played in. It was the best footballing performance. And I always remember, it was just exceptional. We beat them 3-1. I think that was the day I knew we'd go on and win the league, because first half we had never played better, and we came in at 0-0 half time, and we're looking at each other going, that's the best we've played. And a lot of times it would deflate you, but no, we just went out second half and played even better, and we won 3-1, and we just kicked on. So the second season was much better for that reason, that we had to dig deep. and we had to find something from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
We just did.
Yeah. In terms of you're saying like so the big games, Linfield, now what's it like going into the derby games then with Crusaders?
Well, I think for the first, I personally prefer the Linfield games.
Mm-hmm.
Thought they were bigger games. I thought at that stage as well, because probably the first 2 years it was us and Linfield.
It's taking Crusaders a while to get up.
So naturally, no disrespect to Crusaders, but listen, in the third, fourth year, when Crusaders became strong, and them games were the games you wanted to play in, but you know, history books tell you they end up just better than us. They brought, again, football's about players. They'd Gavin White, Heatley and Owens, and they were all on form. We had lost Boyce. You know, whilst Davy McGee came in and was excellent, I think Davy's one of the best strikers in the league. You know, players like myself struggling with injury, was on the downturn, probably the same with Catney, was getting injured. You know, we just weren't the same. Players were past their peak. We'd lost our best player. Managers changed, dressing rooms changed, and Crusaders were now probably the team that we were 2 years before that. They became unplayable and they were horrible to play against. They were very good at what they done.
Mm-hmm. In terms of you're saying there as well, your manager changed and changed. Did you notice that right away, or did that dwindle after a wee while? Or?
I think Brezzy started to know it. Listen, football's football. You know, things change all the time. And that's why footballer managers don't last very long.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look, there's very few managers stay in jobs for long periods of times because it's such a hard job, so demanding. There's not much to win. And things change. You can be the best manager in the world, and you know, if you don't produce, chairmen like to change it, and rightly so, because football's about results. So Brezzy probably noticed himself. He's a very smart man. I think he probably got out at the right time because he maybe looked at it and thought that's as far as he could take the squad. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure his reasons, I would hate to talk, but I think, you know, work-wise and stuff, and managers change, they bring their own ideas in, and it either works for you or it doesn't. You're judged on your results.
Yeah. So it was then George Little then took it after, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. How'd you find it with him?
George was good. Listen, slightly different because George was a coach. George was a coach, and it's always hard to. It's probably hard for that coach to step in, and as I say, he was trying new things. George was probably trying again. George was really ultra perfect. Wanted to bring in the analysts, you know, things, very good things, but maybe just too quickly for some of the boys. You know, I'm not sure if that's right or wrong, but going back to players, he maybe lost one or two. You know, he lost me.
Yeah,
he released me. So
that was it. That was his downfall.
Rightly so. Listen, I was struggling with injury for probably. I should have retired probably the year before I did. You know, you weren't 100%. It was the right call, but you're losing 3-4. Myself, Catney, McMullen, Boyce. You're losing big characters in the dressing room, but you're losing good players. So it was always going to be a difficult job, and he probably done well. He won a trophy.
Yeah, true. But yeah, it's recovering from losing them characters. Like there's 5 or 6 there that you're talking about are replaceable for a word for it, really.
Not that. And then listen, but football's unforgiving. It's your job to replace them. You know, you take the job because you want to do the best, and it's up to you, and you'll be judged on your results. We're all the same, you know.
Yeah.
That's now played for clubs and been, as I say, Morton probably got released. Only club I got released from at the end of the year because shy.
But in terms of yourself, like you said there, basically you did then retire. Currently looking after youth then at Cliftonville. Did they just ask you directly from retiring then, or did you take a time out? Or?
No, it was actually, do you know what? I was fortunate. It was actually my last season. The guy who's running the academy, Kyle Spears, I actually turned up pre-season to do a prize giving and awards, and he had quit that morning.
Okay.
So I knew then the job was free, and it was me and the chairman doing the prize giving. And I remember saying to him, because I'd been doing my coaching badges in Scotland and stuff, I'd done my B license and my youth license, and it was opportunist where when the job came up, and I said to the chairman that day, I said, don't be giving that job to anyone. Do I speak to you? And I went home and I sent him a PowerPoint because I'd already had it done out on youth.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I probably bombarded him for 2 or 3 days to the point where he was like, you fucking stop sending me shite. You know, probably do the say that. And then I kind of got it temporary. I'm still a player. Let's see how he does. And it's just evolved from there.
I said to you earlier about it, Mark, the Cliftonville model I really like it in terms of it always seems to be people who's been around the club that then either work in the youth or they work in the 18s, they work in the 20s and work into their first. So like originally when a couple of years, probably about 6-7 years ago when I was in the coaching, I was talking to Marty Donnelly? No, Mickey Donnelly, sorry. He used to look after another ex-player. So having ex-players in your structure, I think it's a big plus for you, like in terms of what you're looking to do.
Mickey takes the 20s at the minute. He can oversees the 20s with Benny Lynch. But again, that comes from the board and having an understanding, having a focus of what they, it's about having a model of what you want to do, where you want to take something, and how it will work. And as you see, Cliftonville have done that. You look at the managers, listen, we don't have a massive wage bill. We're just a very well-run club who doesn't live beyond its means, always does well. If you look at some of the clubs at the minute that are paying massive money, but it hasn't brought them success. So the Cliftonville model for me is sustainable and it works. More importantly, it's built on probably a family ethos. That's the one thing I felt about it when I first went there as a player. My dad loves it. My dad's a board member of Larne. Larne will always be his number one, but he loved me playing at Cliftonville because it was a family-run club. You were always made to feel welcome. I think even myself, I played for them. I've worked in the academy. I've worked behind the bar. And I'm sure most of the board members have done the same. I'm sure some, I know for a fact, you look within the academy, you have Decky O'Hara, player, in the first team. Same with Brezzy, same with Jared Little, same with Mickey Donnelly at the 20s. In the youth system, we've got Chris Curran, Aaron Donnelly, coaching. They're going to come in this year. Chris is trying to do his B license. He's been taking sessions. So it just works. And what ends up happening, you become like a family where you get more out of people. Not just about... Sorry.
No, go ahead. Keep going.
I'm saying it's not just about, for me anyway, it's not just about, oh, you're a volunteer, come in and coach that team and I'll just leave you to your own devices. We don't have teams within the club. We're just one club. If you come in and you coach for us, you're made to feel part of the family. I'm very friendly with the coaches to a point, but also very professional. You make tough decisions, they respect it because I think they respect you and the group. And we're very fortunate. Our youth teams are exceptional. We've got great coaches. A lot of the kids get moves across the water. More importantly, a lot of the kids get into the first team. I think last season there was 3, 4, 5 youth team players played in the first team. So it's going back to results. We know where we want to go and we know what gets results and it works for us. But that stems from the top down. Everyone works together.
Must give you a good bit of satisfaction, obviously, looking after the whole thing, seeing 5-6 boys this year get put into the first team.
100%. I think also what gives me satisfaction is, as well as it's not just about the players, it's coaches there. It gives me satisfaction that 40, 50 volunteers who I've kept the same core group since I've been here 4 years ago. That tells something in itself. That tells me they enjoy it. And I've watched them, some coming from no qualifications, maybe to completing their A license within a couple of years, moving on, getting jobs in other academies, where they're getting paid. They can start to make a living, maybe get into schools. So granted, whilst it's great my goal is to get players into the first team. That's my sole goal, is to make sure we get Cliftonville get players in the first team, or we get kids to England, whatever they decide. But I like the whole thing. I like seeing the coaches grow. Do you know what? I like the fact that coaches come to me for advice even after they leave, and I just think the whole thing works.
Yeah. The other thing too for your kids, like I'm not too sure the other academies and that, but you've got in yourself a man who's experienced the pro level of football, who can get, as I said earlier, they can give the kids the idea of going, right, this is going to be tough. It's not all going to be starry eyes. You're not going to be getting the big contracts right away. And I think with yourself in there telling them that, I think it gives them a better, brighter idea of what they're actually expected to get when they go over there.
The only thing is, I think the kids nowadays haven't played in 4 years. If I told them I played, they'd go, "What did you?" Kids don't care about you, kids. But you're right. We're fortunate. Not just me. Some of the coaches have played, and some of the coaches do play at a good level. Some of the coaches bringing people in like Chris Curran to take sessions. But you're right. Them pitfalls, you can try and guide parents. I mean, I'm big into telling stories about, people might think it's bright. It's not. It's never. You're trying to tell stories from people who've been there and done it to let parents and kids understand this is real life. Go back to why I don't like agents, and I'm not a fan of agents looking after kids. I had an agent when I was at Partick Thistle or Ayr United because I thought I was getting a good move. I phoned him and I said, there must be, because supposedly there was clubs like Celtic, Hearts, different clubs being mentioned at this time, and he was saying the only club interest is Partick Thistle. And I said, there must be. So anyway, this went on for days until I went down, I signed for Partick, and on my way home I had a voicemail, and it was Owen Coyle, who was at St Johnstone, and he says, "Mark, can you give me a ring?" So I phoned him, and he says, "Mark, listen, tell you what it is." And he understood me as a player, because obviously looking back, he said, "I've got Kevin James and Mark Campbell. I played with Mark at Ayr. They were two big physical winners." He says, "Well, I'm going to play three at the back. Them two will just go and win everything. I want you just to sweep in behind them and just play football." They were in the Premier League. And I says, "Coyle, I've just signed with Partick Thistle." He says, "Mark, I've been trying to speak to your agent for days." So obviously the agent was getting looked after by Thistle and not St Johnstone, and that's why I was pushed into that move. But I can tell them stories. I'm sure other people can, and bring other players in, ex-players with better stories than that. But that story in itself is the pitfall of agents. I'm not saying there are some very good ones, but it's guiding them to them good ones. It's guiding them to who'll look after them, what's right, what's wrong. I don't feel the need for them until a kid's across the water. We can look after a kid, we can do what's right for him because we look after his interest and the family's interest. There's no personal gain. So I would rather look after kids, and I'm very strong in that point. That's not to say there isn't people out there who'll do well by them. There is, but you just have to be aware of these pitfalls. And that's just on the agent situation. That's just one situation, and probably many different players will come in, managers will speak to players and give them better advice.
Mark, I think that'll be ending us here. So I just want to say thanks very much, man. It's been a pleasure listening to you.
No problem.
It's been absolutely class. But thanks very much, and all the best with bringing Cliftonville further forward.
Listen, good luck with your podcast. It was a pleasure speaking to you.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Right, Mark. Take care.